Oh, so you're a cheerleader? Definitely not. Then you must be a gymnast, right? Again, no. This is a common conversation for anyone that is an acrobatics and tumbling athlete who is trying to describe what their sport really is to someone who may not know. Acrobatics and tumbling is an up-and-coming women's collegiate sport in the NCAA scene. My name's Lexi, and I'm a member of the HPU Acrobatics and Tumbling team, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what my sport really is, where it came from, and what the future holds for acrobatics and tumbling. Acrobatics and tumbling is an evolution of multiple forms of gymnastics, including both artistic gymnastics and acrobatic gymnastics. From artistic gymnastics, we borrow the discipline of tumbling, which is the round-offs, back handsprings, and saltos, or flips, performed in sequence. From acrobatic gymnastics, we borrow the lifts, pyramids, and tosses, which is where the confusion with cheerleading comes in, because cheerleading does perform these same type of skills. The difference between cheerleading and acrobatics and tumbling is that in cheerleading, the goal is to perform the hardest skills that you can with little emphasis placed on perfection. And in acrobatics and tumbling, the idea is that you perform the hardest skills as possible, but with perfect execution and zero deductions. The biggest stage for acrobatics and tumbling is as a collegiate women's sport. All three levels of the NCAA are represented in acrobatics and tumbling, so that means that there are Division I, Division II, and Division III teams. All divisions compete together, unlike a traditional collegiate sport, and this is just because we don't have enough teams for there to be a Division I league, a Division II league, and a Division III league. The competition style for acrobatics and tumbling is a meet format, which is where two teams go head-to-head on the same mat, competing back and forth. They are judged by a panel of 3 judges throughout 6 events, which are further broken down into 20 heats, which I will describe for you now. The compulsory event, and by compulsory I mean all the teams across the nation perform the exact same skills in this event. The compulsory event has 4 heats, each is scored out of a 10.0. There's the acro heat, the pyramid heat, the toss heat, and the tumbling heat. The next event is the acro event, which has 3 heats, again, each is scored out of a 10.0. There's the 5-element heat, the 6-element heat, and the 7-element heat. And these heats are made up of a series of elements of acrobatic lifts performed in sequence. The next event is the pyramid event, which is acrobatic pyramids that are 2.5 people high. So there's a base on top of a base with a flyer on the very top. Again, there are 3 heats and each is out of a 10.0. There's the twisting pyramid, the inverted pyramid, and the release pyramid. In the twisting pyramid, the flyer must complete 360 degrees of rotation. In the inverted pyramid, she must be upside down. And in the release pyramid, she must have airtime where she is not touching any base. The next event is the toss event, which is an acrobatic toss where 4 bases throw 1 flyer up into the air where she performs flips and spins. She is then caught by her bases and set out on her feet on the floor. There are 3 heats, again, each out of a 10.0. The solo toss, synchronized tosses, and then a second solo toss. The 2 solos must be different skills, but the synchronized tosses may be the same as either solo heat 1 or solo heat 2. The next event is the tumbling event, and it has the most heats out of all of the events. There's 6. And these are running tumbling passes performed either by yourself as a solo or synchronized with other teammates. The first heat is the synchronized duo pass, followed by the synchronized trio pass, and the synchronized quad pass. Then the solo passes begin with the 5-element solo, the aerial solo pass, and the open solo pass. Again, each of these heats is out of a 10.0. The final event is the team event, and unlike the other events, this is scored out of 110 points. It's a 2.5-minute routine that is set to music, and it utilizes between 14 and 40 athletes all on the floor at the same time. This group of athletes perform skills that you've already seen in all of the other heats leading up to the team event. Now that you know a little bit about how acrobatics and tumbling works, I'd like to give you a bit of a history lesson on the sport. It is a recently developed sport pioneered by coaches Felicia Mulkey and Marianne Powers of Baylor University and Quinnipiac University, respectively. Coach Mulkey was the former head cheer coach at Kennesaw State University until she moved to the University of Oregon in 2011 to start the first ever acrobatics and tumbling team. She developed the program at University of Oregon and 6 other schools that first year. She stayed at Oregon until 2014 and has been at Baylor University since the 2015 season, where she continues to this day. Coach Marianne Powers has been at Quinnipiac University for 20 years. She was originally their cheerleading coach, but in 2011 started their first acro team as well. She helped Mulkey pioneer the original 7 schools in 2011. Like I said, in 2011 there were 7 original schools. In 2016 we had grown to 12 schools, and this upcoming 2017 season there will be 14 schools with acrobatics and tumbling teams. The schools are as follows: Adrian College, Alderson Broaddus University, Azusa Pacific University, Concordia University of Wisconsin, Converse University, Baylor University, Fairmont State University, Gannon University, Georgetown University, Glenville State University, Hawaii Pacific University, King University, the University of Oregon, and Quinnipiac University. Moving into the future, acrobatics and tumbling has multiple goals. The first landmark of which will be achieving emerging sport status with the NCAA. In this instance, the NCAA will take over all sanctioning duties from the NCATA, or the National Collegiate Acrobatics and Tumbling Association, and USA Gymnastics, which means that the NCAA will be in charge of all rules, regulations, and running all the competitions for acrobatics and tumbling. The ultimate goal for acrobatics and tumbling is to become an official NCAA championship sport. Examples of other NCAA championship sports are football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, pretty much any collegiate sport you can think of. For this to happen, we're going to need more schools to have acrobatics and tumbling teams. But luckily, in the next 2 years, at least 5 other universities are planning on starting acrobatics and tumbling programs. These 5 schools represent all 3 divisions of the NCAA, Division I, Division II, and Division III. As more schools start teams, acrobatics and tumbling will pick up the steam it needs to become a true NCAA championship sport. If I have at all piqued your interest and you would like to see a little bit of acrobatics and tumbling action live in action, you're in luck. Because acrobatics and tumbling will be having 2 meets here at HPU, 2 home meets in the spring season 2017. Seeing a meet firsthand might help solidify your understanding of what the sport is, where it came from, and where it's going in the future.